octopus came from? What would lead me to believe that God made it?
Oh, okay, real simple, man. Because for it to mimic its surroundings, right? The genome code that it has in it for it to operate the way it does, you can't make one. No amount of years and millions of years can write the code for something like that. Yeah.
Damn.
2 claims.
Stevens, you want
Just like an octopus's legs, bro. You ate.
bro?
Do you know what I like?
That didn't make any sense. But go ahead.
I said you ate. It was a homophone. Like 8, the number, like
Yeah, they have 8 legs.
but also you ate that to the plate and left no crumbs. Like you did a good job. It's like gay slang for like you performed well.
Our mindset is different. That's why. So mature though. But go ahead, host.
Damn, he just smoked you.
Well, octopuses have.
Yeah. So let's talk about.
Yeah, you still haven't shown me how this is evidence for God.
Okay. It is. Can you make one without cloning it?
Let's say we can.
What?
I'm asking the host because he wants that, because if you can't make one without cloning it, it's a miracle that it even exists.
Okay.
That's a good one.
The genome.
Is that a bi-conditional?
I don't think you're getting.
Who am I talking to? The host or?
Talking to the host. I don't know why they keep on butting in.
Okay. Yeah.
If anyone wants.
Yeah, this should be a 1v1. Let the host in. Let's do.
It doesn't have to be a 1v1.
Talking about tag team.
No,
I
anyone's
know.
allowed on the panel. Oh my gosh, anyone's allowed on the panel. You can say whatever you want. Just don't say random shit. Like, just contribute to the actual conversation. I don't want to get off topic. Anyone's allowed to interrupt.
Heard that right here.
But what I'm just asking for, it can be insanely improbable that that an octopus exists in the particular way it does. I want to know why I would believe that it's evidence for God. I want to know why it indicates God's existence.
It indicates God because it's a supernatural phenomenon, meaning that it cannot be duplicated, not even by nature. Nature would never be able to duplicate something like that can operate like that for it to mimic. It has poor eye vision, and it can mimic its surroundings. Now, that takes an outside observer to input that code in there to have it mimic its surrounding, because the octopus can't do it because it can't see. The only person that can see is the person making it.
Perhaps,
the only person that... Okay.
Perhaps you don't get what I'm saying. Like, let's say.
Are you hearing what I'm saying, though?
I am. Do you believe?
Okay.
Do you believe? Just so I don't mischaracterize you. Do you believe in like classical conception of God, that God is like omnipresent, omnipotent, omnibenevolent, like all loving, all good, powerful, all knowing?
Yeah. With all due respect, man, respectfully, man, before we even get to the all knowing, we have to first dissect where the octopus came, the genome code for that came from first.
What I'm doing. But look. Whenever you're trying to say that something or some data is evidence for something, you need a hypothesis. You need an explanation. And so in order for me to critique whether or not that's evidence, I need to know what you believe in or what your hypothesis is.
I just told you, I'm a Christian.
I know, that's why I was clarifying whether or not you believe in a triomni God. And so my question is, what about a triomni God would lead me to believe that something like an octopus would exist?
Intelligence. Okay. And for a God that's right, triumph, or whatever you want to call it, whatever title you want to put on it, triune, or all that, it's pretty. He's spirit, right? So a spirit that can make something physical that can operate the way it does, it makes a lot of sense to me, because that physical thing that operates the way it does with that genome code is a miracle in itself, because a meteor that crashed a billion years ago would never be able to write a code like that.
Okay, I concede. You win. Someone else can have it.
Yeah.
I was trying to answer this one person. They mentioned like perfection within creation, but having imperfections.
Yeah, perfection in design is what I meant. So it's a perfect design, and that you can allow for it in creation. So as the designer's perfect, it would be a perfect design. The world is good. The world isn't perfect. But the design is. I knew I made an error when I spoke.
We all misspeak sometimes, and I think IP makes a great video on it, but I'm not gonna go over that. The thing I would say is, a lot of times people will often ask, why not create everything just great and all that, or whatever. It's like, well, first off, that's a bit of a subjective term to an extent. And second, here's the issue. When it comes to things like death and suffering, you really can't escape. Since only God possesses aseity, which is basically the
The source of divinity,
necessary.
right?
And since only God possesses the attribute of self-necessary, everything else is going to be subject to death. You kind of can't avoid that.
Isn't there like a whole story about how that could have been avoided?
Well, that was physical death. That was physical death, and that was only applied to humanity because man had a perfect relationship, because man was meant to live forever in the presence of God.
Yeah,
but ultimately, man was made mortal in the beginning, and the only reason he was able to live immortal is because he was connected to God. But when he got disconnected from God, he became subject to it.
Yeah, but well, if you believe in like some kind of classical theist God, correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys don't think that physical death is death, right? You think that's just an equivocation. You think that death is when your soul separates from your body?
I'm not a classical theist, and when it comes to like soul sleep and all that, I honestly don't know what to think at the moment. I haven't really studied that issue well enough to really have an answer for it. But
it's basic. It's basic. It is separation for it is death.
Yeah, but let's say back with the new content. Let's say that for some reason God had a justification for allowing somebody to physically pass on, right? They're buried or whatever, but he doesn't separate their soul from their body until they've been buried for like 7 days. When would you say that death happened? After the 7 days of being buried?
Who told you? Who told you 7 days?
I mean, it's just a hypothetical.
Well, hypothetical.
Nah, we can't. Oh my gosh.
Well, sorry, go ahead.
Do you have an answer to my question?
No. One thing I admire about atheists, man, you guys have like
I'm not an atheist.
Your imagination is like the best.
I'm not an atheist.
Okay, well, people that don't believe in God, right? Like your imagination just, it's I never.
I'm not one of those people. So will you answer my question, please?
Okay, are you a Christian?
Yeah.
So you're a Christian.
Yeah.
If you're a Christian, then you won't be asking that question.
Of course I could.
Why not? What if he's just concerned with his faith?
Yeah.
I'm not concerned about it.
Okay, great.
Why he's asking you?
Like, can we just like engage with the hypothetical?
Look.
I don't hypothetical.
Let me answer the question, please.
Look. I can think of a great example.
Let's talk about reality.
Wait. Yeah. There's an example in reality we can probably both think of.
Yeah.
Yeah, and look. There was one example in history, and I'll give you a guess as to who it was, where they went through a physical death, right? But then their soul separated from their body, and then they were resurrected. You have any guesses who that might be?
Who told you that?
It's in the fucking Bible.
Oh, you're a Christian. Oh, there we go. Now there he is. There he is.
Yeah, his name was Jesus. Maybe you heard about him.
Hypothetical world where you don't interrupt and you don't yap. Like, can we exist in that world?
I just needed him to expose himself.
Now, only
Now I
if
know
we
what
had
I'm dealing
evidence of Jesus' soul leaving
Look,
his body.
I know right here, right now, we're friends in real life, okay? Just let him do his hypothetical, okay?
I don't play games like that, but go ahead.
Okay, then don't play the game. Bye.
So my question is
No, but I want to know who told him that.
Look,
Nobody's saying.
I'm using eisegesis. I'm using
eisegesis.
Look, I'm using eisegesis and exegesis and my understanding of the text from the writers of the text, right, through the apostolic church. So, look, all I'm asking is, I want to know, as far as our denominational beliefs go, whether death means body stops moving for the rest of time, or if death means when the spirit, the thing that gives your body the capabilities to move around and be a person, when that thing is stripped from the meat that we're walking around in. Which one is it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. It's an inclusive or.
Yes. So if your soul, spirit separates from your body, you're out of here.
Okay. Now, is that the same as physical death or no?
Yes, it's definitely physical death. Yeah, because your body physically is no longer functional. It's gone.
Yeah, but okay. Let's say that for some reason somebody passed away, but God didn't remove their soul from their body yet, right? Is that person dead? if they're an inanimate corpse with a soul?
No.
They're not dead?
No, man.
Okay, that's what I'm
your
trying
soul, your soul separate from your body.
That's death, right?
Okay, yeah, your soul separate.
Okay.
Yes, that's death.
Okay,
Yes,
cool.
sir.
Now, this took a long time, so I forgot why I even asked this question, but thank you for answering it.
We were talking about like the mortality of Adam and Eve, and I was saying how like God had originally made them mortal, and the only reason why they were able to live forever was because he was in their presence, and I think it was related to that.
Okay, yeah, true. You said
Physical.
you said that the story of Adam and Eve is referencing physical death.
Well, yeah, I mean, it depends on what it is. I mean, when he says like in the day that you eat from it, that you will die, in that context, he's referencing spiritual death because his spirit died. His spirit died because it got cut off from God as a result of sin. Now, physical death, he did eventually die physically, but so there's like two kinds of death in the scripture.
Oh, he didn't mention Adam and Eve in the first place. Now, if you would have put it in, see what you. Okay, I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should have mentioned Adam and Eve first. That situation, I would have told you that definitely is a spiritual death. I mean, separation from God. So after that separation from God, then the physical death commenced from there because they no longer will be able to live forever.
Okay, so then we agree, Chaos, that your original point of God is the only one with a deity, so anything other than God must necessarily die. That didn't have to be the case because he didn't have to make their spirit separate from their body, which is what death is. I don't
really know whether he separates their spirit from their body.
I'm not saying spiritual. I'm talking about God's essence, His presence there.
He didn't
His presence separated from them.
Can you please let me answer him? I'm really trying to get a point here, and I keep getting distracted. What was your question again right here? I'm sorry.
So it seems to me that if you're agreeing that death is separation of spirit from the meat suit, that...
No, I'm not saying that at all, no.
Okay.
It just means that, like, you're separate from God. Like, you don't, like, lose your spirit or whatever. You're cut off from God, and now you need to get it fixed.
Right, that's what I meant to say. Like, that's what I was trying to get to.
I'm disappointed in that point.
But I assume that there are angels that have never been separated from God.
Well, the demons are separate, and of course the angels right now are still with him. But the reason why they're able to live immortally is because God is because they live in the presence of God, and because He is able to sustain them. Now, of course, there are other reasons. Like, back then, I personally believe in like death prior to the fall, not spiritual but physical. Like, the death of animals, the death of plants, because, well, we saw what happened in 1859. If you have a bunch of animals running around reproducing and all that stuff, and you don't have natural predators, well, wait, is anyone here aware of the ecological disaster of Australia of 1859?
Oh, don't even get me started on the ecological disaster of Australia in 1859.
He knows all about it.
Oh, so you do know that. Okay, well then I don't think I need to explain what happened.
Yeah.
So that's a good
Water under
example
the bridge.
of why death is necessary to a certain extent. Otherwise, you'll just keep... Otherwise, it would be an ecological disaster,
But an all-powerful God, though, which this is what your worldview holds, not allow that to occur?
Oh my God, Kai. I love you right now.
Wait, say that again?
Prior to the fall, as you're an all-powerful God, can you just make that not the case?
Not if you don't want to create. Not unless you don't create anything.
So the answer is yes?
So God's creation is the necessary outcome has to be... What was that, Australia you brought up? I don't know.
Well, yeah, I brought that up, but of course it's like, the reason why that happened was because Thomas Austin was a simple-minded fool. But...
So are you a necessitarian? Is everything necessary then?
No, that would... If you want necessitarianism, talk to a Calvinist. But
does anyone have any good arguments against necessitarianism?
I'm an open theist.
I don't like it.
That's a pretty good
I'm
argument.
an open.
That's a good one. Yeah.
An open theist would argue that not everything is actually necessary, and they would even argue that not everything in the future is entirely settled, and therefore, even though God is omniscient, because certain facts about the future do not exist yet, it's there. His knowledge of it is he knows them as a possible event rather than a certain event.
So God, under an open theist view, wouldn't have middle knowledge?
Well, he has middle knowledge because, like, he would say that, like, hang on.
I'm not doing this as a gotcha, but do you? Can you say what middle knowledge is, please?
Yeah, I'd like to give it.
Okay, hang on. Okay. So basically, like, say I wake up tomorrow and, I have a few different ideas as to what I might eat for breakfast. Well, yeah, God has middle knowledge of you might do this, you might do this, or you might do that. You might choose A, B, or C, but neither one is actually determined. So, okay with the idea that he has it's a bit of a slippery topic. I'm okay with the idea that he has it, but I would say it kind of depends on how you go about it. So,
if you grant omniscience, I think it would just be entailed, right? If we're defining omniscience as like knows all true propositions or something.
Yeah, I mean, he knows that it's possible I might eat a bagel, or it's possible I might eat cereal. And then, of course, after I've made my choice, then he now knows those as not possible.
Okay, so he doesn't have middle knowledge.
Okay, that did happen.
It sounds like you're saying he doesn't have middle knowledge.
I'm not really sure. Like I said, it's a very slippery question.
All right, let me. Good night. This is just going around in circles. So, basically,
I'm just gonna say,
basically, man, you asking us questions, and it's crazy because you want us to tell you how God thinks, man, which is wild to me because it's beyond that. So it's so the possibility of you making choices. He knows all the choices that you could take and the outcomes of all the choices that you could take. You know what I mean? So the way you live in your life right now, that's the choice that you decided to do. Like you wanted to not believe in God. You wanted to just
I believe in God.
On TikTok. What?
I believe in God. Like this is the 7th time we've went over this.
Oh, you believe in God?
Yeah, I'm a Christian, and you even said that you exposed me.
Yeah, I don't think you do.
You said that you exposed me for being a Christian earlier when I referenced the Bible.
Yeah, I don't think you are.
Okay. Is it mutually exclusive? You thinking that I'm a Christian and me being a Christian?
No, I know you're not a Christian. I know that.
Okay.
Because,
and by no there, do you mean like a justified true belief?
Listen, I know a Christian when I hear one, and you're not that.
Okay, cool.
Okay, but I get it. I get what you're trying to do, but it's cool.
What am I trying to do?
Well, what about me? Am I a real Christian?
Hey, let's not.
Which a real Christian? Right? Are you actually? Last time I spoke, you weren't Christian, were you?
No, I wasn't.
Like, apparently he has a measuring stick in which he determines these things, so I'm just asking.
Yeah.
Am I a real Christian?
I don't know. I think I actually, when I speak to you,
you know that I'm not a real Christian.
When I speak to you,
how do you know that?
think you've been baptized yet. I'm not gonna lie. Have you been baptized?
So,
have you been baptized?
I'm asking back.
That's an answer.
Yeah.
What's an answer?
The non-answer.
I mean, you can tell by these games that they're playing that they're not. They just
I'm
playing
sorry.
around, you know what I mean? And the host
So
already
I'm
conceded to
trying
what
to
I
understand what's your
conceded
measuring
to
stick
and
as
the
far
host-
as to determine
Zach,
what a Christian
you
is.
got muted because the host didn't do anything. You haven't been speaking to the host, and she asked you a question, and you're not answering it.
Right. So I'm just trying to determine, right, what the measuring stick you're using to say that I'm not a Christian.
Your character right now, the way you talking in this,
character?
asking questions. Yes.
I'm sorry, we just met, so I'm not really sure what you're using. I've said maybe like 10 words on this panel, and you've already determined that I'm not a Christian. So I'm just trying to understand
Let me ask you this
what
then.
measuring stick you're using to say that is the case.
Okay, I'm about to do that right now. Do you believe that? Do you believe that Jesus is the truth and the way and the life, that no one goes to the Father but by Him?
But through him.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Oh yeah. Do you believe that? That He's
Would you
the
like
truth,
me to
right?
recite the
So that
Nicene
means.
Creed for
So
you?
that means.
Would that help?
Wait. So that means. Wait. Hold on. So that means that the Bible is true, right?
Yep.
Okay. So what are we asking here then? So since the Bible is true, then we should be teaching these people then.
Did I meet the criteria for Christian?
So right now, man, you should need to be on my side, right?
Did I meet the criteria for Christian?
Yeah. Okay. So
Okay, so
I
you're
am a
wrong.
real Christian. So you were wrong about that.
So now that you believe that, man, now you could be on my side.
Right.
Now
Correct.
Now we could
so
talk.
Can you admit that you were wrong about that?
Well, there's a bigger issue here.
Oh, yeah, I was wrong about that.
There's a bigger issue.
Now let's teach. Okay, now let's teach.
You're arguing with.
Okay, now that we're one, let's teach.
Yeah,
Right?
so I have a bigger issue there, and it seems like back in with the new content, it doesn't seem like he has reliable belief-forming mechanisms, because he's formed a belief already that he's admitted that's false.
Yeah, so does anybody on the panel actually have, I'm sorry, does anybody on the panel actually have an argument for either of the two topics in the background?
I do.
Oh no, let what's her name? Let Whit answer that.
I've already,
You know what? You're right.
I've already spoken.
Let Whit defend it. Hold on, let Whit defend the faith.
Please don't talk to me back. I've already had a conversation.
Well, we were doing the free will talk, Jim.
You've already talked to Will.
And then my big question.
We know what's belief system.
Yeah, my big question was, can God's will be truly free if he's acting within his nature? And did God pick his nature?
Oh, we're going to answer that one. Hey, Whit, go ahead.
I have some suspicion that you're expecting like a talent show from Whit now that you know she's a Christian.
Yeah, like I'm not really sure.
Hey, but right here, bro, I swear, last time I spoke,
for you to make a cogent
last time we spoke, were you
statement on this.
Sorry, Jim.
Yeah, like you got a lot of background noise there, back. So get yourself to a place that's quiet, and then you can unmute.
I still hear the
You
background.
said that when we heard your TV.
Yeah, well, then you could tell me that my TV is loud, and I'll lower it. But this guy is in the background getting into a car and jangling keys.
No, I actually laughed. I just thought it was funny. Hey, yo, you got background noise, and then you got TV. That was just funny.
All right.
Just
So,
a knee slapper.
So for now, and everything that's against our religion. Okay, I mean our faith.
Yeah,
so
I'm sorry. What
I want
gives
to
you?
know if you have a valid argument.
What gives you the belief that Whitney is here to defend her belief system, or that you dictate what happens on this platform?
No. But Whit said that I was wrong, right? Okay, since I was wrong.
Well, you probably are wrong. You probably are heretical.
Okay, probably.
Right.
No, I was wrong, right? Not probably.
So you agree with Whit?
Okay, so
then remain wrong. Remain wrong and remain silent.
Okay, so the next question
yeah.
is asked. I want Whit to answer it.
You should be epistemically humble right now.
You've already proven yourself wrong, so I don't think anybody should listen to what you have to say.
Man, I cannot wait to hear Whit.
Are you an NPC?
I cannot wait to hear.
I have a challenge wanting to engage with this guy because I have a rule about debating people with mental challenges.
Look, the fact is that Kacen has a very fragile temper. Okay, he can end this live at any second, and we're trying to keep him from doing that by giving him the content that he wants.
Hey man, listen. Let's ask the question so we can have Whit answer it. That's all. I'm on mute. That's all.
Yeah, are you an NPC? You just seem to have like 4 lines of dialogue that you're just switching through.
Okay, I kind of.
That doesn't matter, man. Let's ask the Christian a question, man. Like,
Yeah, please. shut your trap. I kind of predicted this from the outset that this guy has like no cognitive ability to track a conversation.
It's so strange how they just
we talking about everything else but God. Come on.
keep dodging.
Some would say that we can't talk about anything without invoking God. So that's how I know you're not a real Christian.
Okay. Well, all right. So let's ask the question. Let's ask a
Who's
question
gonna
about
answer it?
Christians, and then Whit.
Here's my question.
Whit will go first. Whit will go first, and then I'll go.
I want to ask you a question.
Trying to dictate.
Oh no, don't ask me. Ask Whit. Ask Whit. Don't ask me.
Whit knows the answer. I want to ask you.
Oh yeah. How do you know that? How do you know? You don't even ask the questions. How would you know the question you're gonna
Because
ask?
Whit is
Here, look,
well respected.
I'll ask a question. I'll ask a question that I think Whit will be able to answer.
Okay, go ahead. Okay,
So,
and not just that, but go real deep.
Yeah. Shut your fucking mouth, because your voice.
So excited
is
with
annoying
Whit.
me right now.
She said she a Christian.
Yeah. Shut your fucking mouth, because your voice is annoying me. If you unmute yourself one more time, I'm just gonna drop you. Right? So shut the fuck up. Yeah. Shut the fuck up. So Whit, here's a question for you. Can you explain why the Eastern Orthodox interpretation of Scripture far surpasses that of any Protestant interpretation of Scripture?
Yeah, sure. I would say that the interpretation is based on the apostolic teaching, which has been preserved through the holy tradition of the church and passed down through succession by the apostles.
Unbroken chain. An unbroken
Great. And can you also tell me, like, the error in terms of how Protestants interpret their Bible and kind of like why that should be seen as less reliable?
This one's a real thinker.
No, it's really not. It's
It was
Timothy.
wait. It was a knee slapper, Kai.
It's a First Timothy. It's one verse.
I was making
We
a
have
little bitty
authority.
joke. Okay, it was just a little bitty joke.
Oh my God, Kai.
They don't follow the church's authority. They might as well be demons. Okay, they're like false prophets.
Kacen, do I have mod in here? I don't think I do. This sucks.
You do have mod, but you don't have the power to kick people. Kacen is reserved with his mod powers. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if you heard that last question, because we didn't hear an answer.
Well, now he's being quiet. I don't really understand.
I'm just trying to figure out how atheist host gave a Christian mod powers. I mean,
What?
He's trying to understand why a Christian host gave an atheist mod powers.
What's wrong with giving an atheist mod powers?
oh, so she's an atheist?
No,
Huh?
I didn't. I thought that's what you said.
No, yeah. So okay. So listen. So every platform that I've been on that's Christian, right? I've never come across one that they gave an atheist mod powers. Man.
I'm a Christian. I'm a Christian.
I'm a Christian, and I have given atheist mod powers.
Listen. I'm a Christian. I'm a Christian, and the majority of my mods are atheists.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm an atheist, and I'm a mod in many Christians' lives.
Right. So they're over here playing games, man, because they can't. You already conceded to the octopus situation, man. None of y'all can even prove at all.
Kacen, you
Yeah. Hey,
couldn't make that, and I
see, when you believe that you came from a meteor, you talk like this.
It was literally fucking
When you believe that you came from a rock,
When you believe you came from everybody. Yeah, you definitely cooked everybody with the octopus argument. Yeah.
I went on
Like
that.
the philosophers have written papers, like theologians have written papers on how the octopus is the best proof for God. Right? You're a fucking joke. Right? Kacen stopped engaging with you because you're fucking intellectually bankrupt. That's why he stopped engaging with you.
Yeah, you didn't win it. You didn't win anything. You dragged him to your level and beat him with stupidity.
yeah, when you believe you evolved from rocks, this is what you get.
I never said we.
You get
You
clueless.
don't even
Zach?
dictating what we
like,
believe.
look, The reason that you are such a low level interlocutor is because you can't even get the position of your opponent right? Because no atheist is gonna ever concede to the fact that we came from rocks, right? You're just talking gibberish. You're talking nonsense right now. So maybe why don't you go get educated a little bit on what the critiques are for the position, or at least understand the view so you could critique it in a way that makes sense, right? Because at least the people here who are atheists understand the Christian worldview such that they could critique and give a good argument, right? We don't come to panels with stupid arguments like we came from rocks or octopuses are the best evidence for God, right?
Yeah.
So maybe read up a little bit.
The atheist argument is science says so.
Because you can't answer. You have no answer for the octopus, sir.
Wait.
That's why, Goofy. You don't have no answers for it. You have assumptions.
Wait, I just.
You have assumptions. A difference. You have assumptions.
Even if I didn't have an answer, let's say.
You have assumptions.
How does that get us?
Okay, how many stages required for an octopus to get to that stage?
You're justified in that belief.
Hey, how many? Hey,
Octopus, bro. Octopus. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. Not the octopus.
Dude,
how many stages?
I gotta follow this guy. Look, wait.
How many stages?
I think he's actually right.
Yeah, look at him, man.
I think. Wait, back. I'm trying to agree. I think you're right.
Hey, together they feel good. They feel good together. Like, oh, let's laugh at him. But he's right, though. Let's laugh at him, though. I'm nervous. I can't answer it.
Okay, neat.
Wait. I think he was right. I had a friend who had a mineral fetish, and he came from rocks.
My favorite part was Goofy.
I'm glad I followed that guy before he got kicked.
And Jim, it's octopi. It's not octopuses.
Actually, it is octopuses.
It's not octopuses?
It is octopuses.
Sorry.
It's octopuses?
Yeah.
I hate it.
I know.
I hate this world that we live in.
It is very strange.
Well, I mean, we're not.
Goofy thing. That was pretty funny.
Yeah. This is my impression of how that guy views Jim. I don't believe in God.
Just use Goofy as
All these goofy atheists, they believe in Gorsh.
Yeah, Goofy.
Yeah, Goofy.
You can't explain the octopus, therefore God.
All right, I'm gonna let Goofy back up.
Okay.
So I actually don't know the 4 stages.
I do want to say this is the best I've ever seen. Kacen is premium form right now, and I'm not even joking.
I don't know.
I've heard him ask 2 good questions on this live, and that's 100 times more than I've ever heard him ask before.
I have an octopus. You see my octopus?
All right, Goofy, do you have something to say? Oh, he's red barring.
Also, I just want. This has been eating on my conscience. I'm not a Christian. I'm an atheist, but I'm an atheist, so I can lie about being a Christian.
I didn't stick to it.
Are you there? All right, Steven, we see your freaking octopus. Put it away.
Okay.
Thanks.
Wait, what stage of the octopus was that in, Steven?
I'm not sure. Therefore God, I think.
Jesus.
Yeah,
This guy is not even competent to understand how to use the mute button on his phone, and we're gonna expect him to give an argument?
Well, neither are boomers, but...
I'm gonna let Amber know you said that.
I will. That's good. Literally the same age.
Oh, Dwight, what I was going to say earlier is if someone is justified in their belief, it doesn't matter what somebody can or can't explain, right? Like, I could know next to nothing about reality, and that still wouldn't mean that Back is justified in their belief that God exists, right?
I don't think he tracks anything that you're saying at this point.
Yeah.
There I go. Yeah, man, I was trying to figure out how DNA came from rocks.
Oh,
all right,
Jesus.
I couldn't find it. That's what he said.
This is a real thing. Like, dude,
That's what he said. Hey, that's what he said.
You understand that, like, you're just an embarrassment.
Elimination Chamber. It was so.
Yeah, I'm an embarrassment. But can you address what I said there?
Probably the best pay-per-view of the year so far.
Let's go.
Yeah,
Oh
it
my
is.
God,
Okay,
sir.
so let's start from the beginning. Let's start from the beginning for the Big Bang, right?
Okay.
Let's start from that.
In the beginning.
So the Earth, so the Earth cooled down, and what happened next?
Shut up.
So the Earth cooled down, and what happened next? What happened next after the Earth cooled
Cody
down?
Rhodes said the F word on live TV. I just can't believe what I saw.
Back. Let's say I don't know. All right. How does that get us to God? Let's say I know next to nothing about reality.
Okay, no problem.
Let's say I know next to nothing about how the world works. Right? How are we getting?
Let's say I can look at creation. All right, let's say I can look at creation and know that there's a creator, right? And you say that you don't know, even though you see the creation. Okay, so now you believe something that you have no proof of and you can't even explain, but you have faith in it, though.
What are you talking?
You believe this happened.
What does Stephen believe?
So he has faith.
What does he believe? What does he have faith in? What does he have faith in?
He just said that. Oh well, what if I don't know? What if I don't know? I don't know.
Yeah, he's saying he doesn't know.
If you don't know, you believe it happened, though. You
Believe
still
what happened?
evolution, but you don't even know how
What
it
does
started.
mean? What it?
Yeah, look at him.
What
Look at
he's
him.
asking you is that.
Asking
What
you.
He cooked you with that.
Like legit, just wanting to. What he's saying, right, is that even if he doesn't know anything, that doesn't mean that your position is now true.
Oh, so it means that his position is true?
No, that's
No, he
not
doesn't
what
have
I
a
mean.
position, dumb fuck.
Okay. Yeah.
Wait.
Oh, so, but you still stand on it, though, right?
Stand on
So
what?
okay. Can you say that? Oh well, you know what? I don't know if evolution took place. Can you say that?
Wait, what's 607 times
Hold
43?
on. I'm asking the guy. Just say that. Hey, I don't know how evolution. I
He
don't
just
think
said
evolution
that.
took
He
place.
just said that, and you.
Okay, good. So it's a possibility. Okay, in this world, it's a possibility that evolution didn't happen. Then good. Now that's a start. That's a start.
That's a
now
start.
Let's talk about. Yeah. Now.
We're not
Let's talk about.
starting anything.
Hey, Wit.
What?
I think he moved on from the octopus to the calamari because he cooked you with that mocking thing.
Hey, host, can I say something now?
Sure.
Did you guys see that fucking? Trying to have a good faith discussion.
Can't expect that from the host. He's an atheist.
Yeah.
Premise one is God exists.
Okay.
Do you accept the premise?
Yeah.
No.
Well, your
What's
world
your-
is incoherent now, so you should have accepted the premise before that.
You have to give us reasons to accept premise one.
I don't need to give you a reason. God exists. You deny that premise?
You have
What?
to justify premise one.
I don't have to justify it. That's my premise.
Are you saying you're
So you
unjustified?
said, why would we accept that then?
Wait, so are you saying you're unjustified in that belief?
No, God is necessary. He's justified in its own nature as God is the necessary view. And non-contingent, right? So it's not a brute fact, as he's reliant on his own nature and is necessary.
But did
So
God
that would be
even?
the justification for God's existence.
But-
Now, do you accept the premise?
Do God even be choosing His own nature and shit?
God's nature is eternal.
That's not what I asked, though, right? I said, do God even be choosing His own nature and shit?
God's nature is unchanging.
That's not what I
His
asked, though. I
will-
said,
his-
did God
his
even
will
be
is
choosing
free.
His own nature and shit?
God is. So that nature is.
But do He be choosing it?
It is. The nature is.
Yeah, but before it is, right? Do he be having a say?
Before God even created choices, nature is.
You can
God
just
is.
say no, Goofy.
No.
Okay, goofy.
Is God all knowing?
Laugh on that, though. I ain't gonna lie.
I'm still on premise one. You got to change to a different argument, dude. I'm on premise one here.
She said goofy.
Is God all knowing?
Oh, that was funny.
You're back. Do you think that God is all knowing?
Yeah, he's definitely all knowing.
Okay, so he knows what it's like to eat shit.
Wow.
Wait, I'm just
In his
curious.
nature, and listen. In his nature, right? In his nature, Because he's holy. Wait, hold on. Listen, you gotta hear me out though. In his nature, he's holy. So that thought would never cross his mind though, for me to even ask the question. Is what I'm saying to you.
But
So that question. Hold on. Wait, that question comes from a place of hate, right? Right? Am I right or wrong? No, hold on. Let me address the young man. No, let me address the young man. Let me address the guy. So that question comes from a place of what?
Wait, if he's all knowing, it just follows that he knows what it's like to eat shit, though.
No, but I just told you his nature is holy, so he won't even know. So that right there don't even apply to him. That don't make any that don't make any sense. That don't apply to a God. But he's holy. He's clean.
Yeah, but
he's holy.
He's all knowing.
No, listen. He's known. He's holy.
What does that have to do with
holy.
what Stephen
Everything is
right,
clean.
But what does that have to do with what Stephen
Meaning everything is clean. But let me ask you something, man. So the world we live in, right? We got racism, we got wars and all these things that's going on. As a matter of fact, Russia, and Ukraine, they're going to actually expand their war.
Why are you still going?
And where I'm going with this is, and I'm asking you, who's gonna bring peace to this world? Are we?
Why don't you stop so Stephen can explain the point to you? You didn't track.
No, I'm asking him, who's gonna bring peace to this world?
No, stop asking until you track the point.
Well, that has nothing to do with what we're... So, if
it
God's
does, man.
Knowing, then it just follows that God knows what it's like to eat shit. Now, regardless of whether he's holy, regardless of whether there's like racism in the world, that has nothing to do with whether God knows what it's like to eat shit. But if God is all-knowing and eating shit is an item of knowledge, then it just follows that God knows what it's like to eat shit.
Yeah, God knows what it's like to be a Satanist too.
I'm going to explain to you how that make any sense, because God created all things, right? So God had intentions on when he created those things, what those things can do, right? When he created those things, smart guy, right? Hey, smart guy. Hey, smart guy. Hold on, smart guy. When he created those things, right? He knows what those things are capable of, right? Capable of. So. He didn't taste anything. You know what they can. Hold on. He knows what they can do, right?
Oh my gosh.
What is he talking about? He created all things.
Even shit.
You're right, back.
Yeah, he created all things.
He created everything. He knows what it entails.
And God doesn't have hunger when he has to eat anything.
Definitely not poop.
My God.
Okay. All right. So let's get that straight. But let me ask you this: who's going to bring peace to this world, though? Hey, man, you can laugh all you want to, but who's going to bring peace to the world, though?
You're so fucking hilarious, bro.
Yeah. You sound like you live in the basement with your mom, man. Like you deliver pizza for Uber. Yeah.
I mean that as a compliment.
People, wait, you deliver pizza for Uber? Like the people who
orders pizza from Uber.
He does.
Who does that? That's
he does.
That's
ask him. He
order
does.
you don't get off Uber.
Hey, ask him. He does.
Wait, did you say it sounds like your mom lives in his basement? Is that what you said?
It sounds like I hear the echo. It's empty in there.
It's empty in the basement?
Yeah, it's empty in his basement.
Okay.
Your mom doesn't have furniture?
Man, that echo is wild, man. Hey, put something in there, man.
This is a euphemism. I think he's saying you fucked your mother.
I didn't say that.
Oh,
I'll
sorry.
just take it. I'll take it for all the atheists in the chat. I'll take that as a concession.
Well, I was going to ask you.
First premise.
I'm just curious. What's premise?
A concession.
What's premise 2 of your argument, Caden? I'm just curious.
Like he has no premise. Like you don't know what he's talking about. He's just talking.
You're not talking anything that's going on. You're drunk or something.
It's a one premise based argument. The premise is the conclusion.
I think you mean zero premise based argument.
There's not even an inference rule. You're just asserting a controversial premise.
Yeah, that would just be a proposition.
Kane, you're dumb.
No, it's a one line.
Why don't you both go to the comments? You're better there.
Sure. Do you want to argue the first premise?
You just said God is necessary. Why should my argument motivate?
You reject it. I tell you you're crazy, and then I go back to God exists.
Yeah, you haven't justified it. You just said it.
We're asking for the argument that gets to the conclusion that God exists.
I don't need to do that. God exists.
God exists is your conclusion.
I don't need to do all this middleman nonsense. God exists. Do you want to reject the truth?
You don't just state that a necessary entity exists and then
What's the premises?
I can do that, Kacen.
What's the premises that get us to the conclusion that God exists?
It doesn't have to be. there's nothing that gets me to the conclusion. This is my proposition.
Yeah,
Sure, premise one is God exists.
Okay, it's unjustified. Moving on.
It's self-justified. It's not self-evident. God's nature is the justification. God's being non-contingent and necessary is the justification of God. Now, do you want to disagree?
Oh wait, so premise one is basically God is necessary?
I gotta feed my cat, bro.
Oh shit.
Wow, that was such a stimulating conversation.
Y'all not trying to have no conversation. Y'all goofing around, man. Y'all probably high right now.
For real.
Are you high right now?
Sound like they sound like they smoking, man.
Are you high
Y'all
right
probably
now?
high right now. Y'all probably smoking.
Goofy.
Do you ever get nervous?
All right, like they're not even trying to have no conversation, man.
I
Like
heard you
they're not
fucked
even
your
trying to
bitches,
think
it's
at
true.
all. They just attacking, and not
They can't
listening.
even think because they smoking for real.
Yeah. So
I'm just.
Beck, I wonder
So
how
the
much
world-
you know about the world. How many
man,
continents?
so the violence that you see all around the world, right?
How many
So you
continents
say,
are there?
so who's gonna bring peace to this
How
world?
many continents are there?
Who's gonna bring peace to this world, man?
Beck,
I'm
you know how many
I'm
continents
talking about
there are?
peace. I'm talking about peace right now.
Hey,
Okay.
why?
So
We're
since
not
you
even
said
talking about
since
peace.
you said there's no God, right?
I'm talking about practice.
That we don't need God. Now I'm asking you, who's gonna bring?
It's like,
They're gonna talk
why
about
does there have to be someone that
They're not
brings
trying
peace to the world?
This is why we ask for answers, and I'm tired of hearing this like brain scattered stream of consciousness. Like it's so disconnected.
It's a disconnected. It's a consciousness and consciousness.
Yeah, it's so
Talking
difficult
about,
to have
man.
a conversation with people. Like
I'm asking you a question. It's not difficult. Answer the question, man. Who's gonna bring peace to the world?
I will.
no.
Yeah, alright,
Okay,
Jordan.
because first of all, you say you will, right? So humankind are shown to be evil,
Uh-huh.
right?
Why did I say I will? What? I said I don't know.
So humankind is shown to be evil, yes or no?
No.
No. Okay, so you don't see what's going on around the world right now if you turn on the TV.
How many continents are there?
Okay?
I don't watch TV.
So you see this wars that's going on right now with Ukraine, Russia.
I think they're even gonna expand
Israel,
it.
Are
you
there in
got
the
Israel,
world?
you got Hamas. Now you're talking about China wants to invade Taiwan.
China's been talking
Okay?
about that
So
for like 3 decades.
right. So even Russia was talking about Ukraine for a long time. Look what happened.
Okay, how many continents are there?
So the rumors of wars, right? So the rumors of wars is what the Bible talked about. It's what's
What
happening right
continent
now.
do you live in right now?
So the rumors of war that the Bible mentioned, right, is happening right now. Everybody's talking about war. Everybody's talking about war. Even when Linsky, whatever his name is, when Trump was like, hey, man, listen, you're trying to start World War III.
Do you have any clue where you are or what's going on?
I'm done.
That was pretty good. I actually kind of liked him. Can we bring him back?
Maybe
No.
they escaped from a psychiatric ward.
I think he needs to check in with his taker.
He's too goofy, and I'm over it.
I like the guy from yesterday with Sir with the headphones. He would take off.
God. I would give anything.
He would show the camera and just have his headphones.
That was the
Oh my
funniest
god,
thing
that
I've
guy
ever
was
seen.
good.
It's funny.
Sir, how many continents are there? Or I think there's 7, right?
Yeah.
Nice. I would have passed.
There were seven. There were 7, but Neptune is no longer. a
Pluto,
continent.
yeah.
Neptune's now considered a dwarf continent, I think is what it's called.
All right.
Please don't toy with me.
Well, it's not even a premised way. It's just a conclusion. Like he hasn't even given an argument for the conclusion.
Yeah, no, the conclusion is God exists, therefore objective moralities
Oh, I
exist.
forgot he's still here.
You're
It's
saying
not even what you originally.
Well, wait. Why would that even follow that just because God exists, objective morality exists?
What do you reject, premise 1 or the conclusion?
Oh my
Well,
god. I can't even
one
give
premise
a
doesn't lead to a conclusion, for one.
Yeah, my premise perfectly leads to
For
conclusion.
2, there has to be
God grounds objective morals. Therefore,
What's the argument for
the
that?
only grounding for objective morals would be God.
Wait, why would that be?
That didn't follow either.
Because brute facts don't exist.
Like if I said 2 is an even number, therefore 2 is the only even number, that's just nonsense.
No, I just told you because brute facts don't exist.
Why would someone accept that brute facts don't exist?
Because brute facts are stupid.
Oh, so there's okay. What an amazing justification.
stupid things
Brute
don't
facts wouldn't
exist?
even be the only way to get to objective morality on an atheist worldview anyway. You could believe in like Platonic objects or something. So what would you say to that?
I didn't even hear what you said.
I said brute facts wouldn't even be the only way for an atheist to have objective morality. They could believe in like Platonic objects or something. They could believe in like moral Platonism.
Okay, it would still follow that God exists. So you could hold that worldview. It
Why
would
don't you
still
just go
follow.
back to
My
feedback
argument would still
academy?
follow. Objective morals exist. God exists.
Why don't you just go back to feedback?
None of this negates God. You saying there could be another option doesn't
you haven't
negate
given
God.
a valid argument.
My argument is pretty valid. If
You know
God
what
exists,
validity
therefore God, therefore objective morals.
Do you know what validity is?
Yeah, validity's on a spectrum. It's either valid or it isn't. It's not
Okay,
valid.
can you tell us what validity is?
Yeah, sure, something that's valid.
Oh.
And now, like, I don't know why you guys have these you guys play dumb definition games all the time. I'm not.
It's because you
Slurms is
don't
here.
even know what we're asking.
Hey, Slurms.
Yes, this follows inference rules. This follows logical norms. This is a valid argument.
What inference rule did it follow?
Question begging, I
This is a
think.
quick modus ponus, buddy.
That wasn't a modus ponus.
That was a modus ponus.
God is not.
That was a modus ponus.
If God exists, then therefore Q being objective morals. Okay, if you don't know math, buddy.
Oh well, that's not.
Now it's math.
You
That
don't
is not the
know.
structure. That's not the structure. That's not the structure of modus ponens.
And in fact, I think if
Like,
we
can you give?
If
Yeah,
P,
please,
then Q,
please give it.
therefore, yeah, P therefore
What?
Q.
no,
So if God exists, there exists. Then objective morality exists.
God exists, therefore objective morality
yeah, so-
exists.
Now,
Yeah.
what?
Support premise 2. Support premise 2.
I mean, I don't reject.
Why would I accept?
Bible premise?
Why would I accept? Why? Okay, so you deny God exists.
I don't see how any of those premises.
Yeah.
I would actually deny
You're
both.
speaking to a panel of atheists. What do you think? We're gonna accept
Well, I
that
don't
God
know.
exists?
I'm actually speaking to a lot of Christians recently. But okay, so if God doesn't exist, then there's no ultimate purpose for meaning or moral values, and they're subjective.
Why would I believe that?
Premise 2 is just trivially true.
See, this is why, arguing atheists, it's so funny because they change their worldview. They're like, oh, I'm going to hop over here now because that lost. I'm going to hop over here now that lost. So it's just a world of incoherence, right? So
Yeah, it's pathetic.
You were so confused. This is not even funny.
no one's confused here. I just
you don't.
said
Wait,
my
you don't think we're
reductio.
confused?
If you're saying this has to be the case because of X, we're putting out some alternative. That doesn't mean we accept the alternative. We're just saying that your inference you're making doesn't follow.
Well, it wasn't
It could be
because of
another
X.
alternative.
It was a modus ponus, which is if P, then Q.
My bad.
I thought the modus ponens he said was P, therefore Q.
Well, no, for what he's talking about is because for premise 1, he said that the only way you could ground objective morality would be through God, right? And I said, no, there's other alternatives where an atheist could ground objective morality. And then he talked about us jumping around. I think what he was implying is that none of us kind of believe in Platonic objects or whatever on the panel. But that's not relevant to the point. The point is that his premise isn't true. You could be an atheist and have sort of worldviews that encompass objective morality and still not believe in God.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you could steal everything out of the Christian playbook and say, I denounce Christ.
What
You
does
could
this
do
have
that.
to do with the
Yeah,
Christian
you
faith?
can do that. No one's saying you can't in theory, right?
are
But
you
in
talking about?
actuality and reality here, sir, there's truth. And the truth is God exists. Objective morals exist, buddy. I don't know why you want to do this. And I'll tell you why.
Yeah, buddy,
Because-
you're fucked, pal.
because you guys make moral judgments. Schmurder is wrong. Helping people is good. Okay, if they're just subjective and arbitrary, like you say, you treat them as their objective truths that apply universally.
I just beg of you to stop talking.
Like, this is why I can't talk to people who haven't been baptized yet. They lack the Holy Spirit. And that's just what it is, Whit. You need to get the
Sorry,
Holy Spirit.
I've been baptized. I don't know what you're on about.
Maybe you need to do it again.
Triple dunk.
Yeah, Whit's actually a catechumen. Did you know what that is?
I wish someone would shove Kai underwater. I'm just kidding. I'm joking.
You know what a catechumen is, King?
I'm familiar. I'm Eastern Orthodox.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Christ!
Yeah.
What is with all these CEOs coming out of nowhere?
Sorry, you've been baptized into the church.
I'm not going to answer that question.
I can one up that.
Serbian blood.
I've been washed.
Because I'm Serbian blood. You can look at the last
I've
name.
been washed in the blood of the Lamb.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Have you been baptized and chrismated by an Eastern Orthodox church or not?
Let's just make this. You merely adopted the dark.
He was born in it.
I was born in the dark.
He was molded by it.
Born in the dark.
When did you see the light, Kai?
No, I'm confirmed.
Okay, so again,
But my argument stands. Okay.
Does it?
Yeah.
hold on. Which diocese are you a part of?
I'm not doing this whole.
You don't know. You don't know.
I don't even know what to spell diocese.
Who's your saint?
Patriarch?
No, I'm asking who your patron saint is.
Patron saint.
He's looking it up.
Let me look it up.
Yeah. Sorry, Whit. I understand you just did your study book and you just joined the team.
Oh my god,
but
this is so ridiculous.
The OGs who are really in the gang, right? We don't memorize everything because we didn't have the study book out.
I'm sorry. Every Eastern Orthodox person would be able to name their patron saint.
That's a claim, Whit. That's a claim.
Yeah, it is a claim, and it's Saint Sava.
You're saying EOs with amnesia?
No, this is so funny.
EOs with dementia?
No, because they pick it at their baptism and chrismation, which was when, by the way. Are you a cradle Orthodox, or do you have a date of when you were chrismated?
I'm Serbian Orthodox, and I should know Saint Sava because we do have a celebration in our village in Serbia where we celebrate
When did Kai get so cool?
He's cool.
Celebrated Saint Sava 27.
Kai, I love this arc you're on.
I said that too earlier. He made
really awesome. You're probably the worst Orthodox debater I've ever met.
He's not.
No.
Yes, he is.
Triple B is.
I have goated takes.
He's goated.
No, you don't.
He made like a billion. He made like $1 billion dongs on Ripple.
People do a transcendental argument, or they go down this road. It's a waste of time.
Wait, that's what you're fucking doing, bro.
I don't do transcendental arguments.
Yes, you did.
Hey, transcendental arguments are not a waste of time. You probably don't understand them.
Yeah, that's true. But that's how I know that they're correct, because I don't understand them.
I'm not a PhD, but I do watch a lot of the tag runners.
You could have fooled us.
It's terrible.
No,
Jim, I like your joke.
I just wish it would stop. Please.
Wait, you're a good one.
No, she's not.
What does that mean?
All right.
I don't know. You're a good person. I don't know. I'm just trying to dead the beef.
Don't take it back. What is first Steven now? You're all a bunch of cocos. Own it.
Rob, I saw you running the lobotomy thing.
Are you talking about his RFK?
No, but I wish that
just
was.
tell everybody Storm's things. Was that it, Zach?
You were talking on Jay's panel about with Lacrotti.
Yeah, about the lobotomy. He didn't know what a lobotomy was.
I know. I thought that was so strange.
Yeah, I thought it was weird that he didn't know what it was.
Yeah. And then he said, "Oh, but you know that boxer that got punched in the back of the head?"
I want to give myself a lobotomy after listening to Kai.
I think his name's Kane Ecolik.
I love when atheists talk to me. You lack the preconditions for knowledge, buddy.
That's tag, dumb fuck.
Yeah.
You said you don't run tag, and then you just did tag.
No, he said transcendental arguments, not tag.
Oh, there's a big difference. Okay.
Yeah.
One represents the truth, and then the other one's talking gibberish.
Okay.
Can you just for clarity? Can Can you explain what the transcendental argument is?
Yeah, basically, very simply here, abstract realities exist that are immaterial, unchanging, universal, that require some grounding. The grounding must be God. If you reject the conclusion, you're going to get a reductio into your incoherent worldview revolving around brute facts, and then you're going to have Sir here. I'm a Platonist. I believe in some nonsense, bro. And then the conversation ends.
This sounds.
You get to walk away.
I feel like that was a correct characterization.
Do you understand, like,
you're wrong.
The nature of transcendental arguments, didn't emerge from, like, the apologetics field, right? This was something in philosophy.
Yeah, of course. People were seeking truth, and they found.
Yeah, of course.
And do you know what transcendental arguments were originally made for?
It was one of the guys who made it up, but no.
Yeah,
no idea.
One of the guys. So it was a refutal of, like, skepticism, right? And what it was trying to do was trying to lay out the preconditions for something like preconditions for something to exist, right? And so apologetics kind of adopted this and tried to demonstrate that God is a precondition for a lot of these things that we see, like knowledge and logic and the such. Right? That's what the argument is trying to argue for, right? God being a precondition for these things. So when you say that, like, atheists don't even have a precondition for these, now you're basically running the tag argument. That's what we're trying to tell you.
That was the joke, Jim. That was the joke.
Oh, was it? Because I can't take you seriously because you say a lot of gibberish.
Yeah, that was a joke. Is these guys who run tag are stupid, and then Slurm said something. I said you lack the preconditions for knowledge.
Dude, I'm telling you, he keeps saying smart stuff, and I'm wondering, if there's hope,
I just really don't know what's serious and what isn't anymore.
Robbie, don't, because you'll get kicked in like a second.
Okay.
You think Casey's gonna put up with that shit?
I just assumed he was trolling like 5 minutes ago because first he acted like he didn't know what an inference rule was, then he brought up modus ponens. So
you said modus ponens.
Yeah.
I'm saying it wrong, sir.
I think he's trolling.
That's why I said he's goated. This is clearly a bit, right?
It's a bit. Okay. But the bit is him, like, saying smart things randomly. These haven't been good examples, but he did it earlier. I promise.
Well, looking at his profile now, I'm not sure.
Smartest in the room is usually the most misunderstood.
Facts.
Kanye said that.
But the most misunderstood in the room isn't the smartest.
Well, I don't know. We couldn't understand anything that last guy was saying, so.
He was goofy. Gore.
Well, it was really quite simple. Like, an octopus exists, therefore God exists. So I don't know why you're not tracking that argument.
What is this, a tiny live?
No, it was right now. When he came up and said, what are the 4 stages? I cried laughing. Blurms, what are the 4 stages of
No, we don't go in Tiny's lives. Ever. Although I saw you up there earlier. So.
Oh, God, it was the worst.
Was it bad?
Did you just add?
Bad.
Oh, what happened?
I don't know.
Did you just add this second prompt here, free will?
Yeah.
That hasn't always been on there, has it?
No.
It's always been on there, sir. You idiot.
It's been on there.
It hasn't always been on there.
Did you know it's actually called gas lamping and not gas lighting?
Shut up.
God. Shut up. You don't remember Tiny's life?
Kai, did you understand that joke?
They were just like, if the Bible's a history book, where are the dinosaurs? And I'm like, that's your that's your only problem with the Bible, like historically, like.
Were they all from Jersey?
I don't know why I picked that one.
Why are the dinosaurs?
Why are these guys always? Why are you guys always leaving out the dinosaurs?
Why are they walking over here?
Yeah, when did God make the dinosaurs? That's not pizza. This is pizza.